All right, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum. जो भी लोग हमें देख रहे हैं और whoever is available on the page of Revolution in Eastern Wrestling, welcome back to the podcast of Awesomeness. This is going to be kind of a lights out special. I guess people have like candlelight dinners all the time, and it's a bit romantic. So we thought, we'll just do one with the power, apparently, because we have no other choice. And it's kind of funny when you have something scheduled and something just royally messes up your entire schedule, just like this one. But we're here because we want to deliver the best quality of the product to you guys, whether it's in our podcast, whether it's in our wrestling, whether it's in any other sort of form of entertainment. So we're back with the podcast of awesomeness, episode number 15. Uh, Without getting into anything else, we will just get back into our the show for today. And the guest we have is absolutely one of the best performers in the recent times that I have discovered, because ever since we started the podcast, we have talked to many people who are many professional wrestlers from all around the world, say Italy, France, Hungary, Germany, Japan. And today, the guy we have with us, he has been around the block for some time now. Apparently, the only guest we have who is actually being a heavyweight champion and a very respectable personality. So I'm going to get him on board. Not only he has been a former heavyweight champion, he's also currently the business manager or the promoter for Hungarian Championship Wrestling, which is HCW. So without any further ado, let's welcome Mr. David on board. Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Hi, Haider. All good here. I'm glad I can be here with you guys. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, no. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. We basically just, as you might have heard, our entire intention of this podcast is to highlight different aspects of professional wrestling from different parts of the world. And by the grace of God, so far we have been very successful in our venture so far. So, David, how have you been? How have you been lately? What have you been up to?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, how have you been lately with all the quarantine and the lockdown situation? How have you been working out through it?
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty serious situation for all, not just for us, for all the pro wrestling promoters, the wrestlers, workers, and everyone in the world. So this is a really special situation because, it's a bit like a world war, but it's not, because we're all at the same side. The whole world in the very same situation in every country. So this, I think we're writing history now. So.
Oh, definitely. Once you have WrestleMania without any people in it, that's definitely a history making, because we never had that kind of thing happen in wrestling before. And we both know that in pro wrestling, the people, we need the people as much as they would need the performers. It's a two-way dance, so we need each other, and without the people, pro wrestling is not all that great and fun. All right, so before the quarantine happened and before everything went down that it did, what was your schedule like, and what were you working on? If you can give us a little detail on what you were working on before the lockdown.
Usually HCW doing around 6-8 big shows in the capital, Hungary, Budapest. There are in the last 1.5 years, there will be all the shows were full house, so that there were 600 people on every shows. And next to that,
great.
Yeah, thank you. That's not bad numbers. In Europe, we're quite big, yes. And next to that, we're doing a weekly show, HCW Underground. That's always on Mondays, and it's free on YouTube. So anybody can watch HCW Underground. That's a free show from the dojo. There's no fancy lights and things, because it's just a free product. It's not a big thing. Around 40-50 people in the dojo, and we're doing matches, and storyline is rolling over every week. It's important because thanks to our YouTube channel, it's more easier to organize the shows in Budapest. I think our success with this lot of people, because 600 people in every show, that's good number in Europe. I don't really know how things going, but I heard a lot good about Pakistan from Audrey Bride. Maybe you know her. She's
Yeah.
retired Hungarian female wrestler. She were there and wrestled in Pakistan. So 600 people in every show, that's a good number. So with the weekly YouTube show and with this 6-8 big shows in the capital, we're doing good as a pro wrestling company. Now, we cannot do anything, but we have a lot of old shows, and full matches. And now we can put these classic things to the internet, just to show ourselves, to give some wrestling to the fans, because we have to hold on until this situation is getting better. So usually, yes, HCW nowadays is quite big, not like a mainstream, of course, but in Europe, it's kind of big. And now everything is just stopped, and I really hope we can keep the interest about our product.
Exactly. I mean, we when we got talking about this episode and doing the podcast, we this is what I do usually. I do a little bit research and get into the details before we get head first with the guest. And the first thing that I looked up was a match with I think it was HCW Vendetta, if I remember correctly, which was you going after Aleister Black. That was the first thing that popped up, and that was the first thing that I saw. And one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen,
Thank you.
admittedly. And it was the one thing that I wanted to ask you. I don't know if it's a certain or not, but I just find it's like so you had your trunks had bad guy written on it, and Aleister Black had this anti-hero written on his back. So is it something very common that is it very literate with all the costumes and everything, or is it just something that happened by accident, or was it a coincidence?
No, it was kind of like an accident. Our character is another same. So my character is, I am the promoter and the owner of HCW Pro Wrestling, and I'm using this in my character as well. So I started like with the renegade gimmick. I started like a bad guy, and that's why that was on my gear, this bad guy stuff. But nowadays I'm not really using this character because I'm using my my position and our team, the Budapest Bastards, with Tamás Szabó, Nitro. We're just doing our entrance in an elegant style, and we're just like in the 20s gangsters or something like this. So that's what I'm using nowadays.
Okay.
The Budapest Bastards, we wrestled a lot of countries. We wrestled for CZW and other American promotions. So now I'm really into tag team wrestling. Sorry for the lights. So about that match, of course, everybody knows Aleister is pretty good. He's on a really high level. So working with him was a pleasure for me, and that was so easy. And thank you for the compliment about the match. But I have to be honest, it's really easy to work with Aleister. He's freaking good.
That's I think the best thing you can say about a wrestler, that he's easy to work with. Because I know I've not wrestled that many matches. I would say probably about 25, 30 matches, so tops. But every time you start working with a new person, with a new wrestler, and something just clicks when you're working with them. When you're going through the match, or when you're planning on what needs to be done, and when you try to execute it, and the execution is so perfect that you're actually enjoying yourself doing it. And then you don't get that with some guys. It's either they're trying to be too tough, they're trying to be so stiff or something. But I guess this is the best compliment that you can give a pro wrestler, that he's easy to work with, and anybody can work with him at any point of time.
Yes, you're absolutely right. This is the biggest compliment in the business. If you're well known in the business about you didn't do anything to get anyone hurt, and it's easy and and good to work with you. Yes, this is the biggest compliment in the business, because if someone is really good, because
Right,
this
right, right.
business has a lot of egos, so huge egos in pro wrestling business, and everybody thinking about himself or
Mhm.
herself as the best wrestler in the world. So it's not
Right.
easy, but if someone is really on a high level, you can see he can do a good and exciting match with anyone in the world, even with a not
Exactly.
too good wrestler. I'm not talking about me and Alistair now. I'm just talking about the whole situation. So yes, that was a pleasure to work with him. He was not just in Budapest on that time. That was
Hmm.
his last match, but before that, he worked with Icarus one-on-one, and he with Michael Dante, the Sumerian Death Squad. Tommy and Alistair Black and Michael Dante
Hmm.
worked as a tag team as well, and he trained us. I uh, I had a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
seminars and trainings from Alistair. We worked a lot together, so we did know each other
Hmm.
when we did that match. And I
Yep.
moved to Amsterdam as well. I moved to Holland to learn from him. So Alistair was in a really good relationship with HCW.
That's great. That's great. So coming back to how David came to be and how he has influenced HCW so far, but we'll get to it in just a second. I just want to the people who are watching you for the first time on our page, because the thing about the promotions from other countries is that we unfortunately sometimes do not get to the international level or that kind of stage that where we want to be, and then we get to it. But the people who are on our page, who are certainly meeting you for the first time, would definitely would like to know how you were, or I would like to know personally, is how you started as into the pro wrestling world. Were you into it as a kid, or is it something that you developed the love for afterwards?
Yeah, it's really interesting because in Hungary
Hmm.
we're in the middle of Europe, but
Okay.
in Hungary there were no pro wrestling ever
Hmm.
before
Hmm.
HCW. So we started the whole business 10 years ago in 10, yes, 2010.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
before that, there were no pro wrestling. Nobody did know what is that. And, people were not too open-minded about this. They did just
Hmm.
know that some Hulk Hogan bullshit, fake shit. So that was
Yeah.
that was all what they did know about
Yeah. Yeah.
pro wrestling. So we started from the ground and built it up. And we didn't get any money, any support, or anything like that. We started
Hmm.
in a bar, and
Hmm.
we I think we had a really good heart for this. So we really wanted to make it in Hungary, and we wanted Hungarian people to see pro wrestling as an art, uh, as we
Hmm.
see that in HCW.
Yeah.
And now we have a lot of fans. We have 25,000 subscribers just on YouTube. We have 3
Yeah.
pro wrestling promotions in Hungary,
Hmm.
and the whole thing is much bigger now. But yeah, to start this new thing, that was really really hard, and we had to loosen a lot of things from our life and investigate everything into HCW.
Exactly. It's not hard trying to establish a new business from ground zero, because I know something little bit about establishing a new business. I've done that twice. First with a little e-commerce company that I own in Karachi where we live, and then now establishing a wrestling company in Karachi as REW. There have been other companies, but the thing is that because people somehow get lost into the midst of WWE, they sometimes forget that they also need to implement their own cultures into the pro wrestling. Like if you're saying at CW, if you're working in SCW and you're doing something that's completely a rip off of WWE, people would might watch it like a day or two. Then afterwards, it'll get boring. So that's pretty much what happened before when with other companies is. The content was too much based on WWE, and we were a part of it. But then, we just wanted to do something different, something that would incorporate our culture, our history, and everything. So that's why we're here. But as a kid, as growing up, were you into wrestling much?
Yes, when I was a kid, I did watch some WWF. So
Hmm.
before WWE, but the same company, and I was
Hmm.
really curious about what is this because I didn't, I couldn't really tell what is this, but of course
Hmm.
I did see it's not some kind of bar fighting, it's some kind of art. So I
Yeah.
recognized and I did see these huge guys, in 1993. Yeah, that was the first year when I when
Yeah.
I watched wrestling. So I saw guys
Hmm.
like the Steiner brothers, Tatanka, and all these big
Hmm.
names in the golden era, and they were, like
Yeah. Yeah.
superheroes. I also love comic
Hmm.
books as well.
Definitely.
Nearly
Definitely.
nearly every wrestling fans love comic books. It's the whole thing, really, the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would just
That.
I wanted to know what is this, and after that
Hmm.
I did grow up, and internet is coming into the picture. And when we started to use internet, I started to search
Hmm.
for about this content, and that was around
Hmm.
2000, I think, around. And I started to watch wrestling again. And I wasn't a kid on that time, but the situation was the same. I was still really curious about the whole
Yeah.
thing, and I loved it as a kid. And now, when I'm watching WWE or any good pro wrestling match, or when I'm commentating, because in Hungary I'm working for a
Hmm.
television station next to HCW,
Hmm.
and I commentating WWE. And when I'm watching that, I always feel I still love pro wrestling. I'm 35 now, and I'm still loving it. I hope it will, until I'm dying.
Of course. I mean, we're. I would say, like, if we are to categorize different type of humans, then us pro wrestlers, or the people who love pro wrestling, we're just completely different breed. And because what we do is we basically get beat up for a living, and when we get beat up and people enjoy it, we actually love it, because if people are not cheering and everything, then it doesn't that matter all that much. But it's just a different breed of people. I'm sure you must have had the same kind of experience where you're growing up, you passed school life and everything, and now when you tell somebody that you're still into pro wrestling and wants to do it on a serious level, people would tell it, grow up. It was all in a childhood. Now you're not a child
Of
anymore,
course,
so do something more
of course,
serious. How many times has it happened to you where people came up to you and said, dude, it was just a childhood thing, grow up?
1,000 times, a lot of times. So really, I'm not an easy person, so I never let anyone to tell me
Hmm.
what I should do. So this is my personality. The
Hmm.
guys who I started HCW with, guys like Icarus,
Hmm.
Dover, Laszlo Arpad, Nitro, they all like kind
Hmm.
of same in this one thing. We're really different people, but we're the
Hmm.
same like this. Nobody can tell us what
Hmm.
should I like or what should I do, because I will not doing that. I will do what I
Yeah.
want to do. So yes, it was really interesting when we started this. A lot of people said it's really exciting, it's new, and we have a big heart for this, so okay, do it. We couldn't make any money with pro wrestling in the first 7 years, nothing. We just investigating back all the money back to HCW, so it wasn't a
Hmm.
business, it was our passion, and it's still our passion. And after that, a lot of people said it's not serious, blah blah, and we made it serious. So now HCW
Hmm.
is a serious business. As a business and as pro wrestling, there are a lot of people in the crowd,
Hmm.
and now nobody can say this is a bullshit because it's too big. We made it serious. So this is the way. If someone tells you it's a bullshit, you have to work on it
Hmm.
to make it something, and something they can't say it's a bullshit anymore.
Right. So while working and while creating HCW, and we'll get to in a second, but how hard it was. But what would you say to say like a company like us, because we're still trying to find our roots and trying to establish everything. I mean, we do have a ring. We did a few shows. We had a couple hundred people. I would say not more than 200 or 300 people a show. But what would you say is the most important thing when you're establishing something from ground up, because you've been around 10 years now, and you've definitely made it a good company. So what would you say is the most crucial thing about it?
Yes. First of all, 200-300 people in the crowd, that's a really good start. That's really good. I tell you, a lot of promos, hundreds of
Hmm.
promotions in Europe cannot reach this number. Never. So 200-300 people in
Hmm.
the crowd at the same time, this is a really, really good thing. It's a good start.
Yeah.
The first and the most important thing, in my opinion, but it's also an important thing. It's my
Right.
opinion. It's
Right.
just about me, and I don't know how things going there. I know what worked for us, but I think everywhere
Hmm.
in the world, you have to put your heart and your whole energy in the product. I think this is the
Hmm.
first step. So you have to really believe in it. Anyone can say
Yeah.
it's not worth it, or it will not work as a business, or
Hmm.
don't know, but you have to put everything in it, so all the heart. The second important thing, in my opinion, is I'm searching for the word, um, intense, like in the ring. If you watching a
Hmm.
match and it's intense enough, so this look like really a fight. So two guys
Hmm.
who look like fighters doing something what
Hmm.
with their art, they can put emotions in, and it's intense enough that will work. Even it's not that clear. Of course, it cannot be clear
Hmm.
all the time, but have to do it with a big rush, with a bit intense. No, without rush, sorry, but with a bit intense. So this is important in the ring. As a business, uh, I can just make that advice. You have to know, in the first years there's no money in pro wrestling, so you have
Hmm.
to work years long, and after that, when your brand is strong enough, your
Hmm.
brand can
Hmm.
can make you money. And the brand is everything. How the wrestlers look like in your roster, this is really important.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nowadays, a lot of
Right.
promotions, a lot of skinny
Hmm.
guys who you can see when you see a wrestler, you can see how you know his quality or her quality, about how he or she looks, the gear, the whole product.
Hmm.
So a lot of guys can wrestle in promotions nowadays, and they shouldn't, I think. So yes, how the roster looks, how the whole product looks. And the last thing I can say about this, try to do something
Right.
new. You cannot do WWE, because WWE will always do in WWE better than you.
Hmm.
So you have to find your own style and doing something new. It's I really liked back in the days when TNA started things with the six-sided ring. I think that was a really good idea. After that, Hogan ruined the whole thing, but that's history. So try to do something
Yeah. Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
Then that will work better.
Right.
What happened? Mm,
Hey, can you hear me?
okay. Okay, it's a reconnect.
Yeah. 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 It's back. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. So yeah. So what do you think about the since we got onto that topic? What do you think about that six-sided ring? Because I never understood what the purpose of that six-sided ring was.
That was a bit different. That's all. Anybody who could watch the six-sided ring, uh,
Mm-hmm.
all the people, who don't know what is pro wrestling, because it's kind of boxing, kind of amateur wrestling, kind of MMA. But when you look at the
Mm-hmm.
six-sided ring, you can know, at the time you're watching something new, something different. You're watching pro wrestling. So this is the only reason why I like the six-sided ring. That was something different. Why not? That's all.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. So, well, so that's great. And then, of course, HCW got to the point where it is today, and we got so many people working to make it great. Of course, um, what I wanted to ask you next was, you've definitely worked your way off from the bottom to the top, and you have been so far. You have been about two times world champion. So, for someone who I would say is trying to get there, but I have this personal promise to myself that I'll only get to that level, or I'll only promote it when there are about a couple thousand people watching. So that's my only fantasy. That's until we get to the point where we have a couple thousand people, that's when I would be willing to, if the circumstances apply, if I'd be willing to go for a title. So when you went for the title and you actually won it, what was that moment like? Because it's got to be the most happiest moment in your career when you won the title, right?
Uh, yes, yes, of course I remember, because when I won my first HCW title match, that was
Mm-hmm.
1,000 people in the crowd, and that was a ladder match. So yeah, I still remember when I'm standing, on
Right.
the ladder on the top, and I'm holding this beautiful HCW heavyweight championship belt. And yes, I will always remember that moment, because I did feel, all the hard work. And I know, everybody telling things like this. I don't really know. I'm not a Buddha or something. No, it's just everybody say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all worth it, and if you benefit enough and you put the work on, you can. But this is the truth. So yeah, this is the truth. I did feel on that moment. Yeah, all the hard work I did put in, that was worth
Mm-hmm.
it. Yes. So it's simple like this.
We basically, yeah, and we live for moments like that, when we either win, or we win a title or something. What was that feeling when the first time you held the title, and when people started clapping and everything? What was that? What was going through your mind at that point? Was it like, okay, I've finally accomplished what I wanted to do, or were you thinking like, okay, this is now the first step into something great, and now I have to make it even better?
Actually, yes, just like you said. I wanted to, grow up for the title, to the level of
Hmm.
the HCW heavyweight title. So after that, I reformed my
Hmm.
body. I did put 6, 7 kilogram muscles on. I looked like a
Hmm.
beast. After that, after I won the title. So, and I think that
Hmm.
was the good way. So I saw a lot of workers, who reach a top in the promotion, and they
Hmm.
became a champion. And after that, they started to going down, because how this is how people work, because that was the top,
Hmm.
and where you can go from the top, you can just go down, like from a mountain, you have to go down. But
Hmm.
you're absolutely not. No, you can change that title and build it up even higher with your personality, your look, your wrestling, with your brand. So you can make that title even
Yep.
more precious, more strong. This is the what you should do, in my opinion. I did that,
All
and
right.
I'm
So
happy
so
about it.
with that being said, where would you say is, after the lockdown and everything is over, where would you say is, where is the next step for you? Where would you like to take it? And we're back again. Yeah, so I was just asking. So once all of this is over, and yeah, there is no power here for some unfortunate reasons. So I was just asking. So once this is all over, and once we're back on the track, where do you see HCW is going? In what is the direction that the HCW is taking, and what can we expect to see?
Um, with HCW in 2014, we had a television
Mm-hmm.
contract. We were in the Hungarian
Mm-hmm.
television, but we
Oh, okay.
weren't ready for that. We weren't ready. That wasn't that successful because that was too. So just after 4 years, that was too
Yeah.
rushy for us. We
Okay.
weren't prepared. So now I think the whole product is strong enough. So when
Mm-hmm.
we can make shows again, I hope so. We can do it soon again. After that, I think we can try once again to be a television show in Hungary. If we cannot make it, I will
Mm-hmm.
be not disappointed because how HCW running now, it makes me happy and makes a lot of fans and people happy. So I'm absolutely okay with that. But I always planning something bigger at higher
Mm-hmm.
level. So I will try to reach the television again with HCW, and if we can make it this time, I think we will be much better. If we cannot, we can still do our shows, and I'm also happy about that as well.
All right. So you have a lot of amazing talent in HCW. Who would say is kind of a trick question, and I just wanted to ask you, like, who are you most impressed with so far?
Yep. I have to mention two or three guys at least. So first of all, Tamás Zabó. Uh,
Okay.
he's my tag team partner in the Budapest Bastards, so you can say it's I'm just uh,
All right. Shout out to the tag team
speak
partner.
about my brother. But yes, but this is the truth. So he is the best seller I ever worked with. His selling is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
His working in the ring is so strong. I think in ring, he is the best in ring worker in HCW. So he's Nitro, Tamás Zabó. Next to him, I have to mention a really young guy, 19 years old. His name is Péter Tihanyi. He using his
Okay.
real name. So in Hungarian it's Tihanyi Péter. So Péter Tihanyi is a really passionate and talented guy. He's the
Okay.
most talented guy I saw in the last 10 years. So I'm pretty sure he will be a big star in Europe or maybe in the world in professional wrestling. My odds on him. So yes, Tamás Szabó and Péter Tihanyi, I like them really much, and I think they are the best now in HCW.
Okay. Anybody from the women division that you like to give a shout out to?
Sorry.
Anybody from the women division that you would like to give a shout out?
Absolutely. I love all our two women's. Unfortunately, Audrey Bride is retired now, but we have Nicolette, Irene, Gulyás Irene, and we have young Emese, and they are both pretty good. I
Okay.
really like how they're doing. They are really passionate, looking good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have a bright future, not just in HCW, in Europe, in every promotion they will go.
Okay. I think Nikki is also watching us right now. You wanna say anything to her? Hello, hi, anything?
Of course. Szavasz Nicolette. Remélem tetszett. Sorry, but that was in
What does that mean?
Hungarian. I just said I hope she's watching it and like it. Yes. By the way,
Oh, okay.
before the whole thing, the whole business went down, Nicolette
Mm-hmm.
were in the finals in GWF talent searching, German wrestling
Yeah,
promotions. Who's next? Talent searching. So yeah, it's not
yeah,
not
I saw
just
that.
me. It's not just me who who telling these girls are rocking.
Yeah, yeah. I know I saw one of our matches with Taz, and Taz was on our podcast a few days ago, and I believe Nikki will be on our podcast very soon. So it's definitely one of the exciting times that I would say of my life doing the podcast with all of you guys with different parts of the world, and I would without this. It's funny because the lockdown and everything. It's a bit unfortunate, but then it's kind of a like a turning point for a lot of people. Fortunately, it was for me because I in normal days would never get the time to do this, but now in the quarantine days, and I started podcast. Now I'm getting to meet so many talented and so well deserved people from the wrestling community, like you. And we did a couple episodes before from people from Hungary, from France before, so it's great. But David, I would say that we're actually running out of our time for the podcast for today. So we would have to wrap it up. But one thing that you would like to say to your fans in Hungary in your own language, one message that you would like to give them in Hungarian.
First of all, thank you for the invitation. I really enjoyed the time here and really enjoyed to talk about pro wrestling with you. And thank
Mhm.
you because I could talk about HCW for
Yeah,
your people as well. So I think
definitely.
Hungarian fans knows everything, but they should know about me already. So I can just tell your fans and the viewers if they are interesting about HCW, they
Hmm.
can check us on YouTube, HCW Hungary YouTube channel, and after that, if they want to watch in full shows, we have a Vimeo page
Yeah,
as well, and they can watch the shows. So why not? We all have time now, a lot of time. And stay safe, of
yeah.
course. That's my
I'm
final
just
message.
no. Right. It's great that you also mentioned the channels, because after the podcast is done, then we are also going to mention the HCW YouTube channel and the Facebook, where people can watch the
Thank you
matches,
so
and
much.
especially going to we're especially going to recommend them to watch all of David's work. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, David, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. And if in the future we get more time to talk to you, we'll do another part with you. And I just hope that you and your team have the best of the luck with HCW, and however you guys want to see it, however you guys want to plan it, and made it make it the biggest thing in not just in Hungary, but also known worldwide. So best of luck with HCW. And David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Take care and bye. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, and
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for
Have a nice
everybody
night.
else for joining us. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Oh, before we go, sorry, I just had a quick thing that I remember. Our
Yep.
chairman, I'm sure you've talked to him. He sent a special message for you, so I'm just gonna read out his message.
Who? Sorry.
He has sent out. Yeah, can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes. Yeah, but the line
Yeah.
wasn't the best now. So.
Right. Yes. So the chairman of our company has sent out a message on the
Oh
live
yes.
comments that I forgot to read, but he said, "Hi David, good to see you, friend, on REW podcast. We wish you good luck to you and at CW. Regards, Team REW." That's what he sent to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was his
I'm
comment to
glad
you.
I could be here. So thank you again, guys. Take care and have a nice night. Best for you. I wish.
Thank you, thank you, David. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.